for a person to kill 42 women over 2-3 years without the police detecting that there are these murders happening, it means we have a failed system.
Completely.
We have a completely failed system. But be that as it may, there are lots of questions that are being asked, even as police are parading this guy and saying, oh, this is Halicia, now is the person who has been killing these women, and parading some panties there and everything. There are still lots and lots of questions as really if this guy is the person involved in the killings, because for a person to have been killing people for 2 years and then you are caught, and now hata venye alishikwa ati sijui boda was called and to go and pick something, and then he asked what is the something, and he was told in body parts. Who says such a thing?
Who does that?
Someday when the truth comes out about all this and the confidence that was exuded by the authorities, that is DCI and the police, the acting IG, yesterday, the confidence they exuded, if someday, I will not be surprised if someday it comes to haunt them the way the mattress story haunted Olelenko. You know, yes. How you stand before cameras and confidently say mattresses were burning, only to turn out to be something serious than that. These ones have stood there with a lot of paraphernalia displayed. We want to believe they know what they're doing. But again, for any Kenyan, you see, we have been treated to a lot of stories of serial. You know, this is not the first time we are coming. We are being given a serial killer in this country, right. And how the stories around these people end up. I will not be surprised if someday these guys end up with an egg on their face for the stories they told Kenyans yesterday. What I would have imagined they would have done is they would have taken some time, not to take the pressure too seriously, to want to get it off themselves as soon as they could with such a story.
I would have imagined if 3 or 4 women went missing in that vicinity, the police will know immediately. 3-4 women go missing in a vicinity and you are not aware. You are waiting for somebody to dream. And if you know, Jeff, maybe you don't believe such kind of scenarios, but huko kwetu sisi people dream such a kind of dreams.
Ndoto zilianza siku za Biblia.
People will come to you and tell you,
I dreamt,
bro, unafanya nini? Mimi niko huku. I'm sleeping here in the cold. I'm told it happens. I've never dreamt such a dream yet, but I'm told it happens. And so, for a policeman or a police service to wait for such a dream to realize that there's an issue. In fact, they didn't even know until the residents there started pulling out the bodies and the body parts. You know, our investigative arm of government then just shows it has failed.
About the guy.
Yes, the guy who retrieves bodies.
The guy said they have been retrieving bodies, not at a so close interval, but they have been retrieving bodies from that quarry. People who throw themselves there, maybe suicide or something. You know, that place is near a police station.
Yeah.
These guys are saying we have been retrieving bodies. Like someone said, we have a county government that is supposed to ensure the environment is kept and all that. And then there's a police station around there which has cases of people, bodies, even though not daily or regularly, are found in this quarry. But there's this scenario where not 1, not 2, more than 10 bodies in the very, very quarry that has the reputation of having bodies here and there, and no one knew. That goes to tell you, Jeff, even our own systems, be it in the county, at the county level or the national level, are failing residents. Those are environments that people reside in. Someone ought to have known that this place is bedeviled by such activities. We have to be checking periodically and ensuring just even knowing who dumps there. We should be knowing who goes to dump takataka in that place.
Exactly.
You know, we are talking about 42 as if
it's nothing.
Kama ni kuku.
Imagine.
Hata huko kwetu ukichinja kuku 42, there's a ceremony. is a huge ceremony.
Hiyo ni sherehe.
Yes.
Hiyo ni sherehe.
Kuku 42, those are hiyo ni umedisha the whole village. Imagine you're talking about human lives, 42, and the police are standing and saying, you know, you have done a very good job, tumeshika mtu for the first time in 24 hours, tumeshika mtu, and then they were asking, what do you want, what did you expect, what were your expectation, you wanted us to take 24 hours or 8 months to arrest somebody who is involved. But it just shows you, Jeff, if it were in other jurisdictions, seriously, somebody must take responsibility. You know, these kind of failures, we should not acclimatize and say they are normal. You know, 10 people die and we are okay with it. You know, the police must take responsibility. And what do? They say they have transferred all the policemen at Kware police station. So how will transferring them help? Because they are going to take their inability to work to somewhere else. You are going to transfer them.
But Obuya and Morutu, just explain to me, is this a diversionary tactic? Is this what could it be? Or were they caught flat-footed as usual?
They were actually, for whatever reason, whether it was the murders were committed by Halicia or they were committed by somebody else, the police were caught flat-footed. But you know, when the story broke out, you know, there were stories of so many bodies being found in that area, and the first suspects were the policemen.
Right.
Because of what had happened, what we were told had happened in Githurai, what we were told had happened in Rongai. So people suspected the police that those bodies were there because of the protests that have been happening. And so I think the police wanted to cleanse their name very fast. They wanted to show that, no, this is not us, this is somebody else. And so the story has come out, whether it's true, factual or not. The story of Halicia has come out, and now everybody is doubtful, actually, whether the story that they are talking about is true or false, because it's not adding up.
The president said that there was a foreign power involved in the ongoing Gen Z protests. Yesterday, he actually singled one out.
Ford
Foundation.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
We've been here, Jeff. It was Illuminati, it was Uhuru Kenyatta,
Russia.
It was Russia, it was Raila Odinga, opposition leaders like, then there was...
At some point it was Rigathi Gachagua,
yes,
the
then
villager.
there were some low-level activists, like former CS Kindiki said. And so I like what the Standard has wrote, that President Ruto is running out of options. He doesn't know who to blame. And I think the biggest headache, not just for Ruto, but for the government operatives, is that they don't know who to lay a finger on and say, you are the one responsible for doing ABCD. And this movement of the youth have come out, and, you know, you arrest one today, tomorrow another one comes out, you arrest this one today, another one comes out, because like they say, they are leaderless. And you know, they are operating, it's spontaneous. What they are doing is just spontaneous. And I think Ruto must come out with better ways of dealing with this thing, because I thought he was doing well. I thought he was doing well when he sacked his ministers, and you know, he had started calming down the youth, and people started seeing, you know, something could be happening. Something, maybe President Ruto is listening. And then yesterday, and then Sunday happens, and Sunday he goes to church and think he received some prayers, and then he said, ni kama hii maneno imeisha. Sasa tena Monday ameenda alijifunga tena on goal. That was an on goal, if you asked me, because these youths don't want to be antagonized. They don't want hata awashautu wangu ni wale watu wanasemanga usinishautie si shautu wangu. So you again, you start again antagonizing them, because whatever he said yesterday is just antagonizing the youths, and whatever was planned for today, it might just be bigger because of what he said yesterday. I would have thought that he will calm down. He will try to let the country heal. He will try to be, you know, reconciliatory and try to be a peacemaker.
Yeah.
But becomes a peacemaker today, tomorrow he comes out fighting.
When you look back, you can see ties of the very foundation with a lot of government dealings and government relations insofar as civic education is concerned, insofar as just enabling the civil society to have a working environment across the continent. So I also again see, other than just displaying their cluelessness on how this movement is organic, they are creating enemies where they did not even need to create enemies.
The president and the government as a whole needs to first change how they are going to deal with this issue, because I think they are so used to politics of previous regimes where there is only one person, there is a figurehead, there is Raila Odinga who is to blame, or there is Matiba who is to blame. On this one, there is nothing, there is nobody to blame. So they are literally, in the dark.
Yeah.
They are blaming Rigathi Gachagua in one week. The following week they are blaming Illuminati. The other week they are blaming Russia. The other week they are blaming Azimio leader Raila Odinga. And the more they blame, the more spontaneous these protests become, because the users are telling them we don't have a leader. They call for dialogue, and the youth told them, go and dialogue with yourself. And they told Raila Odinga, if you want to go and dialogue, go and dialogue.
Yes.
Baba had to,
you had to retract.
He had to retract and retreat and say, kama mmesema hakuna dialogue, hakuna dialogue. No dialogue. Ikaisha hakuna dialogue.
Yeah.
So the government must come out with better ways of how to deal with these protests. They must come out with better ways of how to address the issues that the youths are raising. The youths are telling them, we don't have dialogue. The youths are telling them, we don't have a leader. Just do what we are asking you to do. And they have enumerated those things that they are supposed to be done.
Yes.
They have done some. They have sacked the cabinet secretary. They refused to sign the finance bill. Good progress. Now, can you do whatever else that they're asking you to do?
A week into that, you are seen in a church saying, I want to help build this church. Mfanye budget, mniepe.
Niandike check.
In fact, you say, Gachagua, ongea na priest, mfanye hesabu, mnitumie.
Yeah.
Now, this is a country that you want to believe you mean well in ensuring that our austerity measures are adhered to. But here you are, the head of state who pronounced these measures, going back on them. And you are in company of members of parliament, politicians. Tell me, what will prevent Kimani Kuria, because I saw him and he spoke very, very, very seriously. In fact, he invoked emotions amongst Kenyans yesterday when he spoke. What prevents him from Sunday going to any church and participating in any harambe? Head of state did it the other weekend.
Yes.
Why would you want to question him? And he was present when the head of state was doing that. Why would any other politician who was present not go to any other fundraiser and do that? Exactly what the president said they should not do. So this undecisiveness is really working against him and his leadership as a whole.
Politicians have used those arambes to hoodwink Kenyans and to blackmail Kenyans into supporting them. And the more you give, the more loved you are, because it's tokenism really, because when I come and unaniambia una sukari na nakupatia sukari na hata kama ni kadogo kale ka quarter, you will obviously I'll be a happy man because I didn't have it. And so and the churches have been used by politicians for the longest time to hoodwink Kenyans. President William Ruto came to power because he's a Christian, and he could pray. Before he started the cabinet, he would say, let us believe and pray, and he would be the one leading the prayers. And Kenyans believed this is a man of God. This is a person who will obviously implement what will not be hurting us. But 2 years later, he's being called Sakayo. 2 years later, there are so many names that have been given to him because of the policies that his government has come out with that Kenyans are feeling, these are not the right
I
policies.
think the other name was Kaunda
Uongo
man. Oh, Vasco Danganya.
You know,
All those names.
and they just don't come up.
No.
You know, mtu akikuita nickname, they must be closer to your character. You know, it must be closer to your character. Unajua kama ni moja, you will say, maybe hiyo ni tulikuwa tu siku moja alafu we behave that way, and then the people thought that's how I always behave. Unaitwa Oletenga, unaitwa sijui Vasco Danganya, unaitwa sijui Zakayo, you know, all those nicknames, and it's just 2 years, not even 2 years, barely 2 years into your leadership. It just shows you how fallen he has come from the grace. And Gashago was asking, where did the rain start beating us?
It started.
Where did the rain start beating us?